Hi everyone, Lisa here with IVF Manifesting a Miracle, and I'm super excited to introduce you to my guest today for a Soul Sister conversation. This is Monica Bivas. Monica, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's really, excited for me, and it's a big honor to finally meet you in person because we have been, connecting through Instagram, through text, but
I
it's an honor that you have me in your Soul
know.
Sister conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. You're amazing. You're a fellow fertility coach. You are an author. You wrote the IVF Planner, which we'll get into. You're a mama of two girls and you have a wonderful fertility story. Just you're so incredible in supporting others in this community. I know
Thank
many others can, affirm too that you're just always there for everybody. And I see that.
Thank you, and I likewise with you. We have been connected. I went through your book and your experience, and I think that as women in this community, the best way that we can work together is rising up each other and supporting each other.
Exactly. Exactly. Can you please share a little bit about kind of your story, how you even, got into this fertility coaching? I know we have similar backgrounds, how our struggles kind of fueled the work that we're doing now and what a privilege it is to serve others in this community.
Yes, so it's funny because one of the things I never even thought about it when I was younger, when I was really younger,
Oh,
it was like getting married or have children. I always was thinking, oh wow, the world is so upside down that I just want to just live the free life and not bring children. And then now when I see the world now, I'm like, oh wow, it's even worse than when I was. So when I met my husband, I was 29 years old. We met through Match.com. He
I
was
met my
living.
husband through Match. I didn't know that about you. And you're
Oh
from
wow.
Colombia. I wanted to share that with everybody, from Colombia originally, and now you're in
Yes,
New
yes.
York and in Long Island. But
No, I was in Colombia. He
yeah,
was living in New York, and he's Israeli. So we connected. I didn't even have a visa, and I didn't want to come to the States, not because I didn't like the States. I always love United States. I always look up to this country, like some like a country to look up, to learn a lot of things from as a human and as a community in my country, and all of that. But I didn't have a visa, so I was very realistic that to apply for a visa, I understand why they didn't give me a visa, even though I would say, okay, I come for tourists, but they need to look at everything. So I was very interested in to go into that effort. But when we met, some things are written by the destiny, by God. And we got married 3 months later after we met. We came to the States, and he had a daughter from a previous marriage, and Daniela was 1 year and 4 months. So when he used to have the visitations, it was so beautiful. That kind of motherly feeling started to wake up on me,
yeah.
and it was hard for me to let her go. So, okay, so I said, you know what? I want my own family, my own children. It's like they're taking away a little piece of me, and I don't like that. So
Mm,
we started to try, and I took it for granted because I come from a very fertile family from my mom's side.
mm.
They they were 18 kids, 9 boys, 9 girls.
18.
Yes, from the same dad and mom.
Oh my goodness. 18.
Yes, 18. And if I count my cousins, we are 243. My grandpa died when he was 102, and my children met him. So he met his fifth generation. So it
Wow.
was, yeah. So I thought I'm gonna get pregnant like my other cousins with the blow of a kiss, but it didn't happen. So when I went to the gynecologist, and he said, usually the stress, the anxiety can take up certain time. So try for a year, and then we see. We tried for a year. I came back. He put me on Clomid. You know how is the process. Eventually, all the tests came up good, blood tests, and he said, okay, so we go to physical. So we found out that I have my both fallopian tubes blocked, and we did laparoscopy to see if somehow it could open. Nothing. So my only choice was IVF.
Hmm.
We did our first cycle, and it was successful. And again, I took it for granted. We didn't know about frozen embryos or frozen eggs. In that time,
Right.
nobody explained us. We were, like first timers. So
Yeah. You kind of enter into this world not knowing a lot about it until you're really in it, you know?
exactly, that's what it is. You don't know nothing until you are in.
Yeah.
So when we said, okay, so when my Elia, our first daughter, is going to be maybe 2 or 3, we're going to try another in vitro. And it was so easy that it's going to happen again.
Did you get a
No,
lot
so
of embryos in your first egg retrieval?
wait, yes, we got actually 29, 14 of them fertilized. We transferred 4.
Oh, wow.
And like I tell you, we could have frozen the rest of them, but the doctor that we went, he was amazing, but he was always so busy. He's this kind of RE that want to give affordable price, help everyone, but he don't have too many people, so it's so overwhelming at the same
Mhm.
time that he even told us, I forgot to tell you that you could frozen the other 10. The 10 what that like,
What did
but
you do? What did you do with them? You didn't.
they discard them and we didn't even know.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Like
and he told
practice.
yes, and he told me and my husband that I was a very fertile, it was very healthy eggs and all of that, and until my last IVF, always healthy. So
And
we
this was
didn't
like
know.
13, 14. How many years ago was this?
That was 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
and then like 3 years later, after Elia was a kind 2.5, 3 years, we went again with him. We did another in vitro, but what happened is, like I tell you, he was always kind of changing people and everything, but we trusted him. And I tell you something, today I see him and I will hug him with all my heart. All mistakes, we all make mistakes. So that cycle had to be canceled because the nurse that was working with him, one of the nurses, we never knew who, switched the charts and they called me with the wrong dose of the other patient, and they did the same with the other patient. I got OHSS, so he had to cancel. It was a killer.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we wanted, remember,
That's
I
what
wanted
you hear
like,
in movies, the charts get switched and
oh yes,
God.
yes.
Oh
And
my.
my husband is Israeli. He was so upset. He was like he called and screamed at him, and I was like kind of heartbroken because I know that his intent was really from the heart. And I told him, listen. He said that I need to wait 3 months, and he promised us a cycle at no cost. He's gonna give us the medicine that we use up to the moment that it was canceled, and we went back with him because he said, like it's money that is in there. And
Yeah.
we did it the third cycle. He took care of me, only him. Like he was the nurse, he was everything. I got pregnant. We transferred also 4 embryos. 3 were males, 1 was a girl. The girl was a little slow, and she was the one that kicked the butt of the other 3.
So brave to transfer 4 embryos. I know our clinic wouldn't even do more than 2. Like,
Oh, darling, today they don't move. They
okay,
don't nowadays they
you
don't.
could have been
No,
Octomom. You could have been Octomom or
yeah, 2 times. But we wanted,
sorry.
you nothing but kind of cycles that I was praying like, please God, give me twins from these 4 or even triplets, so I don't need to go again through another one. But it didn't happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I got pregnant. I was 37 that time. Elia was close to turn 5, and everything went. It was going okay, because of the age. After 35, they do the amniocentesis, so they did it. We knew that the baby was good. Well, my husband wanted to know the sex. No, they told us actually that it was a girl. We knew that it was a girl, but
Oh,
unfortunately, at 39 weeks, she was a stillbirth because I developed phospholipid issue. My blood became very, very thick. So blood clot in the umbilical cord didn't, help the baby. The baby died, and I had to go and deliver my baby dead at 39 weeks. Yes.
can't even. I have a very close friend who experienced the same thing. I'm tearing. That's so
Yeah,
hard. I don't even know
it
how you.
is. It's absolutely hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. And by that I learned that there is names for everything. My mom, named, you lose your parents, you're an orphan. You lose your husband, you're a widower. But when you lose a child, there's no name for that.
Yeah.
So that was devastating. I was an emotional wreck. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted to die. I even considered possibilities of killing myself, but it's funny to say now. I laugh now in my husband. We are like, oh my gosh, so
Mhm.
God has something. I
Wow.
am very scared from physical pain. So, like a cut, I cut and I'm like, I'm a chicken. I cannot see blood, and then I'm gonna feel the pain because my mind is so much into the physical pain that I can't. So when I was looking into doing something to don't feel that emotional pain, so I was like looking, searching, okay, what is the best way to die without pain? It was
Gosh. Oh, Monica.
and yeah, really, and why I'm open about this because you know what, we don't talk too much about loss.
Oh,
And it's something that we need to, because one of the parts of grieving and healing loss
yeah.
is finding a community, finding someone that can listen to us, even if they don't say a word. But when we take
Yeah.
out that pain, it's
Wow.
good. It's
How did you
healing.
pick yourself up from that?
Because the only way that I found that it was like viable, it was not legal. So then I thought my head always go to the what if again.
Oh,
So then I say, okay, so what if I try that and then they caught me and then I'm in jail? Then I'm gonna be alive and with pain. No way.
oh,
So listen, you know, God had me for a reason, and I needed to go through the pain. What happened is that, of course, when I found out that there is no way, so I told my husband, that's it. I need to do another in vitro, like right now. I
uh,
need to fill this space. I need,
uh,
it's like you want to replace that baby because maybe you think that that's going to help you. And he was like telling me that it's not possible. Like I'm a mess. Men and women, we heal different. So that also brought a lot of issues in our marriage because I thought that he was not feeling. I was expecting him to cry the way I cried, and he was grieving his own way. So it was too much.
did he,
Eventually, I
did he
convinced him.
want to have another child too then?
Yes,
He did.
yes. And I put him against the wall, I drilled him, and 2 months later, we talked with our RE, and he recommended another RE because he thought that I was not mentally prepared to do it. He didn't want to do it, but he recommended another one. We went to him, he said the same, I'm not ready. You shouldn't do that. It's going to cause you more pain if, God forbid, doesn't work. But forget it, Lisa. I just put these two people, my husband and him, and we went through. I got pregnant, but yes, they were right. 7 weeks later, I miscarriage.
Mm,
So and then everything kind of went through more darkness. I almost got divorced with my husband. It was terrible. So, but sometimes it's necessary these kind of things because when you are like in the bottom, there's no other way but going up
right.
or stay there and die. That's what it is. There's no middle point. So we got to a point and we say with my husband, okay, so we love each other. Let's work on our relationship. We have a child. We need to grieve. We need to heal and look into each other and look within and see what we need to change. We did it for a year. A year later, we said, okay, we're gonna try our last IVF. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, it's okay. We stay with our child and now my stepdaughter, and we since then, when I start to understand, I went through this alone. Yes, I have my mom, I have my husband, but sometimes I didn't feel comfortable to talk everything, like to bring that weight on them. And
Yeah.
then I felt defective, and I felt that was something wrong with me, and I didn't want to tell people about my issue, like I am ashamed. So I started to realize in my last in vitro that this is what I want to do. I
Mm,
want to help someone. So then how I help anyone else? By helping myself. So I
mm,
start to work on mindset a little bit, on try to balance that anxiety, on try to be more positive, and that if I feel to cry or to scream or to run, I need to allow it.
yes.
And then I got pregnant from Maya. 20 weeks, they put me on blood thinners because of my past. So I was a high risk pregnancy. And when she started to move, I went crazy, So I learned so specifically at what time she will move, how many movements. I was like, in that part, I was a wreck. That one.
Oh,
So
wow.
if she will not move at 2:30 in the morning, because that was the time that she will move when I was sleeping, I will wake up my husband, tell him to bring me chocolate, juice, wake up the poor baby. I didn't let her even rest a minute.
Oh my, now was she, did you have her, was she frozen, like a frozen embryo, or did you have to go through another egg retrieval then for your last cycle?
And now get another egg retrieval because my cycle, my two last cycles, the stillbirth and the miscarriage bring me about only 12 eggs,
Okay.
and they fertilize, I think, 6 in the stillbirth, and we transfer 4, and then in the other one we transfer 4, and they were the only 4 that fertilized.
Oh,
With Maya, and I'm gonna tell you this, and you choose if you want to put it in the conversation or not. But with Maya, yes, we did frozen. We froze actually 4 embryos, very good quality, um, and we have them for about 4 years. So my debate always with that was that, I am going to be 48. By that time, I was 42 almost when I have Maya. Um, we always, we were debating. My husband was like, I should try. And then we look at our age, and we, 10 years from now, the kid. So we were receiving, of course, calls from our clinic where we having the frozen,
mhm.
asking us to see if we want to donor. And I know, you can donor and you can get paid. But I have to be honest with you, Lisa. That thing in the back of my mind of, okay, if I give my embryo, if I donor my embryo, just that thinking, who's gonna have my child, how it's gonna be treated. So in that part, we were not ready. So
Okay.
we kind of leave them there, and then we took the decision that we don't want more kids, but we can't do that. And both we were in the same line.
Yeah.
So we tell the clinic, we did a prayer and everything in our Jewish religion and all of that. And don't get me wrong, I I love and I admire people that are donors
Yeah.
because I know they are giving the dream that I also, struggle with.
Right.
But each of us have our mind in
Definitely.
different,
Very personal
so
decision, and
it's
I respect your decision, you know?
exactly. So that's what happened. Um, but we are happy, we have Maya, she's 7. When she born, I felt that she was like the same soul of my stillbirth in different little body, and I
Mhm.
felt forgiven because you know what happened when you have a stillbirth. I felt guilty. I was thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I pick up something heavy? It's such a psychological war
Uh-huh.
from the emotional pain.
Oh, wow.
But she born, and I felt very blessed and very forgiven, and I realized that my pain became my purpose, basically.
Mhm. Wow, you've gone through so much. Thank you so much for sharing so openly your long journey. You were mentioning you were going about this journey pretty much alone. Did you have any other friends going through fertility challenges? Were you part of groups or any other supports at all?
No, Lisa, 15 years ago, I think that even social media was not even exist, because when I started my process, actually, it was 2004, and I think that Facebook was just starting.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right. That's so
so
hmm
when I was alone here, my family was in Colombia, and I was open with my mom, but I didn't want anyone else to know because of the reason I tell you. I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt that someone is going to judge me. Oh, you cannot have babies naturally. All the family, yes, that run into our minds. So no,
Yeah.
there was not the support that is now.
Well, I love what you, like you said, you turn that pain into this new purpose and turning it into this amazing book. You were journaling a lot through your third cycle, was it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm a big journaler as well. I find it so just therapeutic, just to put your heart out, to share your story in a book that you can have it's like a keepsake one day, right? To like record
Yes.
your feelings and your journey. And um as you write about in your book, I know you wrote this really to support others going through this really difficult ride. And I love how you said IVF women, we are made of courage and strength. We have been given this mission for a reason. And I learned from my own experience that it is all worth it, and just,
Yes.
can you share any thoughts about that?
Yes, I can explain you that the best way I can is this. So when I was going through it, I was like, I kind of felt like curse, you feel like, why me? Why me? Why me? I cannot have children. Plus, when we are walking this journey, somehow the rest of our close friends or acquaintances or family, oh, I got pregnant. Oh, I was not expecting. And you are like, what the hell? And why me that I want?
Yeah.
So when I went I would say more the last time with Maya to the transfer of my embryos, they put you can see the little screen. I love that part.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that part that you just said, because then I said, oh my gosh, you probably want me to be the closest of to you and to your knowledge to see how it's happening. I am like seeing it. Normally, naturally, that you have intercourse and that's it. You get pregnant if your period doesn't. But to see that,
I know. The embryo,
to,
right?
to receive the pictures of the little embryos,
I know. I
that's when I
feel
realized
I'm
that.
in awe of that every single day. That's in our bedroom and I see it, and it's just from what our little ones start out as, just this little cluster of cells, and like, yeah, it's so
So
special.
from exactly, so I felt like, oh my gosh, you are giving me a possibility for to be you, to be God, or call it whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm Jewish, but I always
Yeah.
said whatever that higher power is for you.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
was thinking, you give me today the chance of being for a few minutes you and see this miracle of life. And that's when I realized, wow, so that's my mission. I'm privileged.
It is a
So it
privilege
worth it.
to support
Yes.
others, right? On this ride. And both of us
Yes.
being fertility coaches, we get to really walk with individuals on this path. And
Yes.
what's the most rewarding part for you being a coach? Can you speak about what brings
Oh,
you the
yes.
biggest joy? And
I tell you, meeting other women like you,
hmm,
meeting other women that are in and are with me, that have walked through it, because I thought that I was the only one. The same like when I had my stillbirth, I was so, like close into my pain that I was like, I felt I was the only one. So the blessing of all of this is knowing this beautiful community from which I don't feel judged. I don't feel
yeah,
judged. No matter if you have different points of view in something different in other subjects, but we meet here in this, and you understand how I felt. You know that if I wanted to scream, rant, curse, you are not going to judge me for that. You are sensitive. You know that it's not bad to feel not okay. So this community, the
mhm,
fact that I became a coach, brought me to build the most beautiful friendships that I have ever had. Even if I come to school, I have beautiful friends, but this, and I love it. It's
I know,
something I truly love from my heart. It's
right?
coming from my heart.
The
Yes,
blessing that you never expect, like entering this
exactly.
world where you do feel often very isolated and alone, and you realize, wow, there's way more people going through this, and how wonderful more people are talking about it, and you personally sharing your story through loss. And it's these are like life some of the biggest life lessons you'll ever learn, right? I mean,
Yes,
life.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes I even question myself as a mom. I think that we all have that too. Like when I scream, like because all mothers scream, we all
Yeah.
scream, and sometimes they get me upset, and then after like maybe 10 minutes, I'm thinking, like I feel
I know.
terrible. Why I need to scream? So it's all a teaching that comes from. It comes from a very struggling situation,
Hmm.
from because we are going through a different way from the natural way. So yes,
No, I can totally relate. I feel like our children become like our biggest teachers too. Like the journey is a teacher, the struggles, how we pick ourselves back up. And can you think of things that, how were you able to pick yourself back up? Was it just the hope that, like, knowing that this is all going to work out, knowing you were meant to have a growing family? Like, how did you just keep that hope alive for yourself? Do you have any?
You know, yeah, I guess that always something in the back of my mind, even if it was in my subconscious, there was this little voice, our inner voice, that was telling me, you you can make it. You're gonna have your baby, and even during the stillbirth, like I told you, that is such a pain that you just don't want to feel it because it's so hard. There was this voice, just the fact that I went and tried to do whatever, and I don't find a way, was like, okay, I need to listen to that. I cannot force things.
Right.
So, and it's funny, I didn't go to therapy. A lot of, when I talk about it, they tell me, because a lot of women, they go through therapy, or through someone to listen
Hmm.
to, and they recommend me. But you know what, Lisa, I rejected it. And I'm going to tell you, I rejected it for one reason, because I don't like to go to a person and tell about my story or my pain, and then he or she is going to tell me, I'm sorry, after an hour, I have another patient. Because that's how therapies normally work. If you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I love all what our doctors in the conventional medicine they do, because they study for that, and they follow a lot of a lot of their research, and they are very strict and about time and about that, all of that.
Right.
But I don't like that, because I am in the middle of something that I need to be heard,
Right.
and then they cut me.
Uh,
So that's why. And I somehow, me and my husband, we came into an agreement of that this is not gonna, we don't want that. And this is something I love about our community, because you see, we are coaches, and we can, of course, that this is also our business and our work, but we love it. So when we love something, we give it from the heart. And I will never, cut someone in that way if it comes to me.
yes.
Or if someone cannot don't get connected with me, I will always be able to say, you know what, I have this friend, she
Right.
Lisa, or I have Michelle, maybe connect with her, you can feel that spark.
Right.
That's the thing and that's why I also became a coach. That was another reason. I'm like, that someone is going to go, oh, listen, I'm sorry, my patient is outside.
I know. Well, I like the way you think, just we we try to give generously of our time and our resources and support. And for women, right now is a really hard time for everybody, going through a
Yes.
global pandemic, and on top of that going through fertility challenges and with the holidays. And we're recording this kind of, closer to Christmas here, and I'll be releasing it soon. But what any words of encouragement that you would tell women right now during this time?
Absolutely. I know that, as you mentioned, this time is so difficult. I've been there. You know what is the best thing that I think the best advice I can give women and couples struggling? It's okay to not feel okay.
Mhm.
It's okay to feel bad for feeling happy about others, because you are not happy still. It's okay to say no to family gatherings.
Exactly.
It's okay to just call and say, you know what, I don't feel well. I want just to be home with my husband, or be home with myself. Because if you are a single mother, or you
Yep.
are trying, or you are same-sex couple, whatever,
Right.
it's absolutely okay. Because when we force things, and I have learned that when we force things, we are putting more pressure on ourselves,
Yeah,
more stress,
exactly.
and right away cortisol levels go up. We are blocking the flow of our body.
Hmm.
The right to say no.
Yeah, creating more resistance, more struggle where there doesn't need to be. And it's all about
Yeah,
really honoring those feelings,
absolutely. And
honor
I
it.
always said,
Yeah.
when we nourish ourselves, that is nourishing yourself. Saying no, not feeling okay,
Yeah.
not saying what you don't need to feel.
Right.
Because when we do that, then we are creating environment to be the same way with others.
Right.
It's a self practice. So that's my best advice.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I wish, wouldn't it be wonderful if more people just spoke from the heart saying, like, this is a hell yes, or this is a hell no, like just not trying to
Yes.
appease other people, right? Like honoring
Yes.
your truth, honoring what you need. And yes, I completely agree with what you're saying. Just taking
It has
extreme
right.
care of yourself on this ride and deciding for yourself what's the best next step for you, and what do you need. If it's exactly
That
saying,
is so
and
true,
maybe
because you
now
see, by
during
taking care of ourselves too.
excuse me,
Yes.
but during COVID,
Yes.
how it's a lot easier to
No,
say
no, no.
no, don't want to see you, right? During COVID, just isolating, like keeping yourself
Exactly.
safe.
Exactly.
there
And
are gifts.
you
There are
know,
gifts during this time.
yes. Yes, and as you say, this year has been so hard for everyone in all the aspects. So imagine for people like us that we went through it not in such a difficult time. So imagine now,
I know.
it's more difficult. So I always encourage anyone to try to look for support. You know, I know that financially, any ART, it could be IVF or IUI, is very also, it brings stress to itself, you know, to the process itself. But you know, today with social media, there is so many support groups.
Mm.
You can find not, you know, free resources in our sites, in you know, talking in the group. So I always
And you have a
encourage people to
community,
go there.
right? You have I know you offer some freebies.
Yes, of course.
Could you
I have a Facebook group that calls the IVF Journey. I have about I think it's 1,800 members. I am not running, like, you know, for the quantities like crazy. I like quality and offer
yeah.
that to people. I have meditations, free meditations downloading my website. I have a free IVF guide that, you know, is gonna help others to see how to choose your clinic, your RE. From my own experience, you know, we need to look into the success rates, not positive, but baby's life. You know, I always say that. I have some coloring mandalas, fertility mandalas, because
Yeah,
that's one.
they're in your book. Some are
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
You have a lot of you probably can't see that with the light, but just different pages to record medications, journaling, your cycling,
Yes.
even insurance. I mean, you've covered a lot. So
Yeah,
wonderful
I
job.
cover. Yes, yes. And the 2 week wait is something that I put the mandalas in that chapter,
Okay.
because I think that creativity and art therapy
Oh yeah.
help us to switch our mind and to kind of balance that stress that we are into. So,
Oh,
you know, no, I'm
completely.
not saying controlling it, because forget it. There
Oh, you
we
know me.
can't control anything.
Exactly. Well, you know me about with art and creativity. I have a whole
Yes.
chapter on that as well. There's a lot of
Yes.
power in tapping into that creative space.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So
And
yes.
can you share your website? I'll link it in the notes, but tell me.
Yes, it's so you can find me in www.monicavivas.com. My Instagram, which is where we are very active, and
Yeah.
when we were met, is at Monica Vivas. And also in Facebook is the same name. And then when you go to my personal Facebook, you can see also there my page, which is
Mhm.
Monica Vivas IVF Coach, and the link to my group if you want to join me. Yes.
Thank you. You're such a wonderful support to so many in this community. Thank you for joining me today for a Soul Sister chat.
Oh, no, thank you again, Lisa, for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and I honor that from you. Thank you.
Thank you. And for anyone that wants to connect with me, I'm at ivfmanifestingamiracle.com. And I also have a little freebie, some top 10 tips that I've listed that you can download as you're going through IVF. So, and our books, we're both authors. Do you think there's more books
Yes.
in works for you, Monica? Do you plan on
Yes,
writing more? Oh,
actually, yes. I hope that by the middle of January, I'm going to be launching my book, Ranting Doodles, which is a fertility coloring book. You know, we rant a lot, because we are so much into this. So it's a very fun, related fertility. Yes.
a few
And
curse words in there.
there is stories, and with a curse with little dots, so it's not so.
Oh, right.
But it's
Love it.
beautiful. I'm sure people is gonna love it. Yes, because
That's awesome.
And it's only fertility. You're gonna see the little eggs, the little sperm falling in love, some
Oh, that's
cartoons.
awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see that. And I know we're both contributors to Sheila's book. This is
Yes.
IVF and other fertility
Mhm.
treatments. So I love our community,
Mhm.
coaches, like we're all here to support one another.
Yes, yes, and there is this book that is in pre-launch. I forgot to mention, but I'm going to send you the link because I don't have it
Oh,
online now. That
okay.
I also collaborate with the Quillette Institute from Kathy Quillette.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
it's in pre-launch too. Yes.
Yay. Well, reach out
Thank
to
you
us,
so
Monica.
much.
I'm Lisa White. So love to you all. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Bye.